Some of you asked for hockey romances, so here I am jumping to read a hockey romance on the day that it comes out just for you. Hey everyone, my name is Amanda and I'm the Fun Size Reader, and I am here to talk to you about Offside by Avery Keelan. Well, what do you know? Amanda's reading more hockey romances. This one was brand new. I saw Emily Wittig. I think I said that right. I'm not sure. She does cover design, and a lot of the authors that I've read that are indie authors get their covers redesigned with her. And she was posting about this book and I was like, ooh, a new hockey romance to check out. Let me see. I had a lull in between. I was looking for a palate cleanser, so I queued this book up. I was not expecting it to be 600 pages. That makes it not a palate cleanser in my book. Way too long to be a quick read palate cleanser. But it is another hockey romance, so I have to tell you guys about it. This book is about a girl named Bailey, and she gets broken up with on her birthday from her now ex, who is the captain of her school's hockey team. Her school has a rival school that is in the same town, and they literally hate each other. The hockey players hate each other. They get in fights all the time. Her and her friends decide that a rebound is her best bet, and she happens to run into her ex-boyfriend's number one rival at a club, and he hits on her. So she decides, what could it hurt? Why not kind of go after my ex's rival? But of course, the rival is kind of a bad boy, kind of in trouble with his team, loves to pick a fight, but they catch feelings. This one was hard for me to rate because there were things that I really, really liked about it, and there were things that weren't really my favorite. And I kind of went back and forth on whether to give this 3 or 4 because of the weights of those different things. So I decided on a 4 because there were a lot of aspects of it that I did really, really like. But there are some things that I would say, hey, like I need to tell you about this in this review. And when I say I'm going to tell you about these things in the review, I'm going to really try to do it in a non-spoilery way. Spice rating on this one, it is very spicy, but for the length of the book, it doesn't really feel that spicy. Like it fits with the length. So I'm going to give this one 3 chili peppers. It's definitely not a slow burn, but the spice does not start out right away. Kind of different from Icebreaker if you've already read that hockey romance. So speaking of Icebreaker, it was really hard for me to read this book and not compare the two side by side. In Icebreaker, you have the main character who's a figure skater, so she's very involved in the ice sports, hockey, figure skating world. In Offside, you have the main character who's dating a hockey player. She used to play hockey. Her brother's also on the team. She goes to all the games, so she's also very involved in the hockey world. Both of the books feature main characters who are very goal-driven, very aspiring to do more with their life. And so it made it really easy to compare. I really tried hard not to. I really, really did. But it was hard to do that as I was reading. I think the biggest thing that I got out of the comparison between the two was that I didn't mind that Icebreaker was as long as it was. But there were pieces of Offside that I just felt like were too long. I felt like I kept getting caught up in some of the descriptions. Like, I didn't need to know every single step of how someone was putting on a Band-Aid. I didn't need to know every single step of how someone walked through a house or cooked a meal. Like, things like that. That just made it seem like it was too wordy, which made it too long. But I will say I did really love the romance in both of the books. Like, the romance aspect of it, the spice aspect of it, those things I thought were fantastic. I'm recommending this one and thought it was 4 stars because of the romance. The length, that one kind of, it kept pushing me towards 3. And like the over descriptiveness was making it down. But the romance, the spice, loved it. I loved the main characters. I loved Chase. I loved Bailey. I thought they were so great together. And I really, really liked Bailey's friends, her supporting characters, I think they really added to the story. Now, there was one part of the romance story that I did not love, and I am not alone in being over this trope. I am, like many of you, very over the last act breakup. This one had a last act breakup where the reasoning kind of made me roll my eyes. And I hate saying that, but like it felt like it was forced a little bit, that it didn't truly fit in with the plot. Like I felt like the plot was the relationship developing, not really an overarching full-blown plot. Like the plot was the relationship. Adding in this last act breakup for the reason that was chosen, I just wasn't a fan of. I'm not going to ruin it and say what it was, but if you have read it, you have thoughts on it, leave me a comment down below. Make sure to say spoilers because I'm really trying to keep this spoiler free. Like I was enough of not a fan of the last act breakup reasoning that I was reading it super late at night. I had like 9% left to read. And I was okay closing my Kindle as soon as I found out that that was the reasoning and going to bed and leaving the 9% for the next day. We get last act breakups in romance books all the time. So like, I'm not faulting the book. I still think it's a good read. I still think it's worth 4 stars because of the relationship and the love story and the enjoyment of reading the book. But I just didn't like those pieces. This book is available on Kindle Unlimited. I will put a link for the physical copy in the description down below. And don't forget, you can also find me on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at The Fun Size Reader. See you guys next time.